Hi, I'm Nick Fenton with TickerTank.com, and I have a new trade for you. This is for the swing trading email delivery system. Trade is buying to open PWER at 9.50 GTC limit. So that's a 950 good till cancel. That's what GTC stands for. So this limit will stay intact until either it's manually canceled or until the limit order fills. The target on this trade is 14, and the stop is 7.72. So that results in a reward to risk ratio on this trade of 2.5 to 1. Let's take a look at the stock chart, and I'll go over the reasoning behind this trade. We'll take a look at the stop, the target, why they are where they are, etc. So here's a shot of the 1-year chart for PWER. At the top of the chart, we've got the stock's price action. Below that, we have the volume pane, so this just records all the volume here for the stock. And below that, we have RSI. The first thing to point out is a really nice 1-year uptrend that's been intact for quite some time. So you can see we have this nice uptrend support line that's been intact for a year, a little over a year actually. Recently we saw some downside pressure right here that took place on some pretty strong volume and some significant increase in volume. But nevertheless, it brought it back to uptrend support. Now, my initial thought here was this was going to, the high volume action was going to push it through this uptrend support and it'd be a good shorting opportunity. So I put it on my radar, watched it for a few days. At this point, I like the stability that it's shown right at uptrend support. We're starting to see a few days of consecutive upside action. The volume has not been bad on the buy side in the most recent action. So I'm confident that we're going to see continued upside movement along this uptrend support. And this provides a good opportunity for entry with minimal capital risk and a lot of nice opportunity for gain here. Now, another thing to mention is RSI here at the bottom. We had this recent downside move push RSI down to around 30, which is an indication of an oversold situation. And as you can see, we're getting a nice push back towards the 50 line. So I would anticipate RSI pushing back up towards the 70-75 level here very soon. One thing to mention, we do have earnings on October 29th. I have a calendar alert reminding me of this earnings release on October 27th and October 28th. So I'm going to reevaluate the situation on both dates, and if the price action is favorable, then may hold through earnings. But if we have a decent profit intact, then likely going to take those profits and eliminate any earnings risk that would be associated with holding through earnings. One more thing to mention here, if we take it over to this chart, you can see we also have the 200-day exponential moving average just below uptrend support. So the yellow line is our uptrend support that we had drawn on that previous chart, and this red line is the 200-day exponential moving average. So why is that important? Well, it's important because this can provide some nice secondary support potential for PWER. As you can see in the past, as it's gotten close to 200-day exponential moving average, it has bounced nicely. It got close right here. We saw a nice bounce off of uptrend support, but that 200-day moving average was very close there as well. Back here, we saw it bounce really nicely off the 200-day exponential moving average. So this stock tends to react to the 200-day moving average. Granted, we aren't sitting right on it by any means, but it's nice to have it just under the uptrend support line as a safety net. So back to this chart. We've established our stop and target, the stop being at 7.72, which in this case gives it some nice breathing room under uptrend support. So basically if it started to test uptrend support again, we're giving it some breathing room so that it can break it a little bit, but if it breaks it in a significant amount, then we want to be stopped out of the trade. So you can see right here, it broke uptrend support just a touch. If you hadn't given it enough breathing room, you would have been stopped out there and you would have missed out on this huge upside continuation. So we want to avoid that type of situation by giving it plenty of breathing room under the uptrend support line. Now the target is 14. We don't even see 14 on this chart, but the target's established by looking at the largest move away from uptrend support that we've seen in the past, which in this case, we have a move from uptrend support line at 7 up here to 13. So we're looking at a 6-point move there. So we're estimating a 6-point potential move from this most recent uptrend support touch, which is approximately 8, a little higher than 8. So you just simply add 6 to 8 and you get 14. So there's our target. It's fairly conservative because the actual touch is right around 838, 840 range. So we're about 40 cents conservative with that 14 target. And we're anticipating some potential pre-earnings momentum, which could drive it to this 13 or higher level, which that would be a very nice situation, very favorable situation. But keep in mind, as time progresses, we will continue to modify, revise the stop higher and higher, continuing to give it a little bit of breathing room under that uptrend support line until either we take profits on the trade, we're stopped out, or we make a decision to bail pre-earnings. So that's our reasoning behind entering this PWER long trade. If you have any questions about the analysis or the trade overall, feel free to email me at nick@tickertank.com, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.